Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Bring Pretty Back with Kristen. And what I want to talk to you about today is how I went from teen mom to businesswoman, then completely lost myself again, and felt as though I knew nothing. How in the world did this happen? Let me tell you how it happened. I was a teen. I had my first son when I was in high school. Then I had two more sons by the time I was 24. So I was a pretty young mom. And I didn't go to college, obviously. I finished high school, didn't go to college, but I always knew I wanted to own a business. I always knew in my heart, I always knew I was an entrepreneur, but I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I held that in my heart as I had three little boys. And while they were napping and while I would read books on business, and I would read Success Magazine. I would read magazines on business. Anything I could get my hands on, I would read. And I just ate it up. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just kept reading. This was before the internet, so you couldn't Google you had to read. You had to actually read, and I loved it. And I always knew I wanted to do something. And as the boys got a little older, I got dreaming about what I wanted to do. My first business was a gift basket business out of my home. Then I opened a adorable little gift shop that I loved. And then I started a candle company that I sold. So I did that in progression. And I had no training. I just went on my intuition and I just kind of figured things out. I made mistakes. I did things right. I just had to figure things out on my own because it's all I had. I only had myself to learn from and to figure things out. So that's what I did. So I did those things. And my candle business, I built it and I sold it. And then after I sold it, I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what at that point. I knew the candle company wasn't my what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life. I knew that. That's why I sold it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started a blog that turned into, so I wrote a book. So I got the book, the blog, the book was published. And then I knew, which was called Bring Pretty Back. And I knew that was my passion. I knew Bring Pretty Back was my passion. And then I started moving forward. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really know. I knew it was something. I didn't know what it was. And here's where things went off the rails. I started listening to someone else rather than myself. I started believing in someone else rather than believing in myself. And it really was a toxic situation. At the end of the day, I felt as though I didn't know anything. I felt I lost my confidence. I gave my confidence away. That's what I did. And I'll take full responsibility for that. No one did that to me. I did that to me. I was someone else, and I believed that I was less than because of someone else. So what happens when that happens? Well, you stop doing things. You second guess yourself. You start to panic. You start to worry. You start to have fear. And then what happens then? You're paralyzed. That's what I did to myself. Well, let me tell you, that's all done. That is all done. Whew, I've had a bit of a time during this, but I'm taking my power back. I'm getting my groove back. And I have decided that one of my dreams with all of this, with starting the business, selling the business, and all the lessons in between, I'm going to be writing a book. My next book is going to be about from teen mom to businesswoman to losing herself to getting herself back. So it's going to be really pretty much Bring Pretty Back in business. So that's the new book. And I want to share my lessons with you because it is, even though there are business lessons, they're life lessons too. You don't just lose yourself in a minute. You don't lose yourself in a day. You lose yourself. It is a process to lose yourself. And it's also a process to get yourself back. Also, I think that this is really going to be a lot of fun. I am so excited about this. So please let me know. Have you lost yourself? Did you give yourself away? You're not yourself. You're not giving yourself away, but you know what I mean. Did you lose your confidence in yourself and become paralyzed? Let me know. Let me know. So this is my new project, and I'm excited about it. I'll be sharing my ideas and tips with you. Thank you so much for taking the time with me on this episode of Bring Pretty Back with Kristen. And I cannot wait to let you know about some of my antics as I've built businesses. Thank you so much. Go out, do something nice for yourself today. Get your confidence back, get your pretty back, get your groove back, and have a pretty day.